Hazel. Welcome to Vibes with the Archives. I am Vanna.
And I'm Kymmy, and today's episode is going to be on numerology. And for the first part, we have sacred geometry. And for myself, I wanted to start off that neither Vanna or I um, have a lot of experiences with sacral geometry. And I'm only going to touch bases on what I know, and of course, what she knows. She will make light of the conversation as well. And once we get through that, we will also talk about other symbolisms and lead in further. So, the first one that I have for myself is the Merkaba. That's Merkaba, and it's a sacred geometry shape and symbol that represents the unity of your body, spirit, and light. So it's made up of three forms of the three-dimensional star. And it's supposed to help you remember that you have an energetic field around you. And it is believed that everyone has this, whether you believe in it or whether you're aware of it or not. That is your energetic field. And Makara is a powerful energy field light that surrounds your body from a 2D perspective. The Makara looks similar to the Star of David, but it is not the same, just so you are aware. And during meditation, if you meditate on this symbol, it can help you connect with your breath. You may notice that there are some breathing exercises that are on like GIFs, or if you watch visualizations online where you're like breathing in as the box expands and unfolds and then closes back in on itself. That's a type of sacred geometry as well, is boxes closing in on themselves. You can create your own symbols if you feel comfortable and look into your own as well. And I'll move into the next one, which is the Metatron's Cube. I adore this one. It's one of the ones that you'll most likely recognize if you look it up. It's seen around a lot of different places amongst different communities. I know that they were inside shops for like gift shops with like posters, especially. And it is made up of two-dimensional figures made with 13 circles that represent the building blocks of creation. It is a symbol of spiritual growth and enlightenment, and is used among many practices. It is also connected with lines indicating that different universes are connected and that the shapes are all made up of matter of the universe, is what it represents. The five tectonic solids, which is made inside of it, they're shaped to made up the matter of the universe. The geometric symbols are found in all of the creations, and it's from reality to reality, so showing that all of the different dimensions are connected. And this can be used in meditation and spiritual practices if you want to connect higher realms, access divine knowledge, as Metatron's cube is like Archangel Metatron. He is the scribe of the Akashic records. So if you work closely with him, if you are a public speaker, a teacher, which we'll get into, especially if you're a spiritual teacher, we'll get into that with master numbers moving on from here. But Archangel Metatron is a scribe for the Akashic Records, which is a record of all the different timelines, like every single timeline from one dimension all the way up to 12th dimension. Like the halls of Amenti, if you work with Toph, Toph is a scribe as well, which he takes the scribe of all the lives, and you may work closely with those two as well, or other messengers like Hermes.
I love that so much. In my understanding, the root of sacred geometry is the interconnectedness of our very existence. Like the pinnacle that people use and associate with paganism often, or you could see it as the five wounds of Jesus. I've heard it represented as that as well, is another example of sacred geometry because every length of the side of the pentacle makes up another interconnected side. So like from the base to the tip, that long side is the same amount of length as another connecting side. And it's just like everything will always build on itself to make something larger, to make something bigger, to make something brighter.
I love that, especially since it's like the Metatron's cube is like a variant of the fruit of life symbol, like the flower of life, and that's what it's supposed to represent is like blossoming and blooming and naturally unfolding your destiny and like things naturally unfolding for you.
When you are on that path and you're working with those energies, the big question comes in of like, when do you know when to act? How do you know when you're in the correct area of like your life, your direction, your energy? And this is, in my personal experience, where numerology has shown up the heaviest for me. When I started recognizing numerology as a way that spirit talks to me, it's like my YouTube algorithm. What I linger on, what gets my attention, comes back because the algorithm learned that it will get my attention with that. I can get information through that. And so spirit's energy works very similarly. That's why there is that phrase, take what resonates, what speaks to you individually. So, with numerology, one of the most obvious examples are the angel numbers 111, 222, 333, so on. Each of those numbers have an individual meaning. When they're in combination with each other, like 1, 2, 3, 4, they have combined meanings. But in my personal experience, when I started seeing consecutively 111 or catching 555 in a moment of, first of all, actively trying to learn, actively trying to hone my craft, hone my practice, and strengthen that connection, there was also the inquisitiveness of myself of, I keep seeing this. What does this mean? And in looking it up, I learned what those numbers meant, what those angel numbers were. And I recognized numerology as a very active form of communication between myself and my spirit team. And so they would use numerology so much with me. Even just today, and I was getting ready to this and my other meeting and all these other things, I keep catching mirroring numbers, repetitive numbers, numbers that add up to another thing. Because, like, I'll do that in my tarot cards. If I keep seeing, say, 444 or 44, it is the number of divine protection. When you see this, that is a soft hand from spirit saying, you are protected. I know what you are going through right now is difficult and it hurts you physically, but energetically, you are protected from the worst case scenario in this situation. Affirm that to claim more protection. And when I have to speak like that, to like speak like affirm, confirm, that gets caught up a lot with the scripting that the false prophets and people in the spiritual community will do, like not naming names of other readers and stuff because I wouldn't do that, but the ones that are just like, God wanted me to deliver you this message at this specific time, and if you wait till the end it's going to be so incredible, and they don't speak about the entire message until like the for the minute into it.
People will use it for, like you said, false prophets and like spiritual F boys and F girls and stuff, like spiritual people who want to use it for their things, being like, oh, I'll get her to like me because I'm gonna message her at 222.
Yeah, if you're coming with that intention, don't be
It's
surprised when your car wheels start falling off or some shit.
Like, it's energy, your bad intentions will be sent back to you. So, like, you can't just use spiritual numbers. Or, like, one of the common things for people who are scammers in the community is, like, having outrageous number, like, gouging numbers, being like, I'm gonna have, like, 444 for like 4 minutes with me to talk, and I'm like, what? Yeah, how is that? I'll teach you how to get richer. It's like, yeah, not buying the reading. Like, come on. Like, that's like late night churches being like, you need to buy me this, and I'm like, you have a yacht, what do you need me to buy into the church for? Like, you're just not going to buy into a lot of things. So make sure that when you are looking out for these numbers, that you're tuning in with yourself, which is the biggest thing. Like, you can look up online as much as you want, and there will be different indications of what those numbers mean. But you can, in the moment, take a moment and think, what was I just thinking about? What was I doing? What energy was I in that would affirm this with this number coming through? Like, if 333 is coming through, like, what in the moment was I doing to find growth within myself? How was I supported in that moment? What was I changing for the better?
That goes so much into the discernment of, like, when you are working with numbers, like, numbers go on forever. That is why you must have discernment. And it's going to be different for every single person. Like, for some people, when they see a 12:12 on the timer, they're just like, wow, I just caught the clock at 12:12. Other people, they'll take a pause and be like, oh, okay, something is happening, and I'm being reminded that I'm being led into balance, or I'm being led into security, something. It's going to, if it triggers something in you, if a number means something specific to you. For example, the number 12 has a very important personal significance to me. I'm born on May 12th. 12 was this consistent joke between my brother and I growing up when I like turned 16, and my mom made a special video because I was going through a hard time in my life. Brandon was like, and you'll remain 12 your whole life. He was being silly, but it was always something that I had like called back to, just like, why that specifically? So when I see 12s, I also see them as another personal notion to me. Like,
Yeah.
an individual sign. It's like, if you need to have that, like, if your lucky number is 7, yeah, there's like casino things and all that all over the place. But if you are specifically asking for that, you'll get like 9777 as your total, or you'll come up and you'll be like at 477 as like that's your ticket numbers. There's going to be something. It's little things like that, and it's your job to be like, have your awareness turned on. How aware are you in your situation? How in tune are you in the situation? Because spirit is always throwing signs, symbols, and synchronicities at you, but
Oh,
it's what will it's what will land, it's what will resonate with you. And that's why, in my personal thought and belief, without getting too much into deities, we'll do that in another episode, we all worship the same energy, but they choose to go by different names to appease the culture that they are seeking, or to integrate into the environment that they are. It's not that they are being inauthentic, it's not that they are being false. When Athena presents herself as Caradwyn in the Celtic cultures, it is, I have to be a different person to speak to you. It's like, I'm not going to use the phrase a good parent, but my mother treated myself and my two brothers very differently because we are very different kids. The way she disciplined my brothers could not be how she disciplined me, because it wouldn't work the same way. And that's what people don't understand about not just their kids, but each individual. What works for one person will not work for another. What resonates for one person will not resonate for another. A message for one person is a completely different message for another. And that's why it's your job to understand what these synchronicities mean for you. You can go in and learn and memorize every definition of angel numbers and every meaning of the cards. But until you learn to trust your intuition, to trust yourself in the moment, you will always be looking outside of yourself for validation.
True, but the extra confirmation is definitely,
Oh no,
definitely
the extra
awesome.
confirmation is always great, but when you can't move forward on something without getting a green light from someone,
Yeah.
it is a hindrance. And believe me, I am not attacking anybody here. I am a
Oh,
queen of
absolutely not.
procrastination. I will stay in my comfort zone until it becomes toxic.
Oof.
Felt too
Been there,
hard?
done that. Been there, done it. But at the same time, like if you're going through, and I will notice that a lot of people who are getting introduced to spirituality, besides affirmations for myself personally, I've noticed that numerology is a great way to introduce you to um, trusting your intuition. Especially if you ask for confirmation signs and other things like synchronicities, doesn't have to always be numbers. They can be repeated, seeing frogs everywhere,
Rubber
spiders,
ducks.
rubber ducks. Oh yeah, little rubber duckies everywhere, out on the go, and that's your synchronicity from spirit, that that you've got all your ducks in a row, or that you're seeing things eye to eye. They just want to be able to see things eye to eye. But I've noticed that when I do post online about um, numerology and numbers and stuff like that. That is the one thing that I notice that people will come to realize and trust straight away. They'll be like, yo, I've been seeing this number a lot. And you may associate different numbers with different people, as Vanna said, about 12 being her sibling and herself for birthday. But I know one of my friends is 113, and I know a couple of other friends that have different numbers and different symbolisms that means them while I'm on the go, especially like Vanna said with deities and going forth with their calling out to you so that you recognize those symbols, and you might have different ones completely to yourself on what it means for putting out into the world. Like you may have different things that mean something to you from your ancestor, like having a certain smelling cologne that they once had that you would smell whenever you went into their room, or the varnish that was on their wood that they did out inside of the shop. Something that pertains to you can be that intuitive nudge, that little extra confirmation, that universal affirmation, just a little nudge on the shoulder, being like, "You got this."
No, seriously, like learning angel numbers was one of my favorite things to do in my spiritual journey because like you see numbers everywhere. And it's always was just like a tongue in cheek. It's just like, ha ha ha, I caught 444. Or like, it's 1221. It's mirroring itself. I have 434, which I love. I just love that completion and new beginning. So like just a quick rundown. One or 111, 1111, however it appears, is new beginnings. You can think about in the tarot, the ace cards, they are the new beginnings. They are the start of something. And angel numbers actually help me a lot with remembering, like, okay, angel number 5 is the number of change. There's something changing here in the 5 of Cups, and moving on. And those three that are spilt over, there has been this change. And so numerology very quickly adapted into my reading style. If you look at some of my personal readings on my channel, you'll see that all the time I'll point out 444, or like when I get the number in this deck, and then that same number comes out in a completely different deck, confirming that message. But like, one is a new beginning, two is balance, harmony, and creativity. 333, this has been a big one for me recently, is growth, change, and support. Four, as we've mentioned, is spiritual guidance and protection. Five is spiritual uh, strength, freedom, independence, and transformation. Here's the big one: 666. It is an angel number, and there are a lot of people that have very strong a very strong aversion to this particular angel number. But the angel number itself, 666, is to refocus your life and higher purpose and to let go of fear. And in my understanding of the Bible, that is what Lucifer was fighting against, was the fear mongering. And again, I did not grow up reading the Bible. I could be completely off base with that, but it is just how it's resonating for me with seeing the association and growing up with the association of 666, and then separating my ego's notion and trying to understand what it is individually, what it is independently. And that's one of the hardest things for a person to do, is to remove their ego and look at something objectively or subjectively.
Version of language, because the Bible came out after numerology already existed, so it's just another symbol that they've created to take over and change for themselves.
Yeah, that's another conversation. 7 being a commonly known lucky number is one of the signs to trust your intuition and your inner wisdom, that gut instinct of yours. 8 is the number of abundance, prosperity, financial success, because you could think about it as an infinity symbol. And a common affirmation when people are doing wealth, abundance, or financial spells is, my abundance is infinite. What I put out in comes back to me in an even flow. I am not afraid to let this go, because I always know more will come to me as I will it, so mote it be. 9 is the number of completion. And so it then goes to like 10, so on, 11, 22, and 33 independently are special angel numbers in that they are master numbers.
Yes, master numbers in numerology. There is master number 11, 22, and 33, and they're considered to have a greater impact. And you can go through this by finding out with your life path number, and you can add that up by adding all of your birthday numbers up together. And if the number is more than a single digit, then you would add them together unless they are life path number 11, 2, and 22, and 33. And you can also resonate if you are not sitting in your higher self's energy. You will resonate with 20, number 2, and number 4, and number 6. And you will need to learn more on communication and taking the initiative and being more in your leader roles. They form the trio of practical wisdom, elevated insight, and potentially even good luck. So if you see a lot of those in your birthdays, you can add those up, and that's how you get your life path number. And there's also your destiny number as well. You can calculate that by taking your full name. You can look this up online, as when I was doing it myself, because I noticed that with my birthday I had a lot of 9s in it, and I also had a 9 with my first full name. So I was wondering, and I wanted to look into it. I wondered what all the different amount of numbers would my name would add up to. And yeah, you would add them together and calculate individual name sums from assigning them to the number values from the alphabet. So A equals 1, B equals 2, and you calculate all of your individual names and then add up the sum. If it is a combination of a number, reduce it to a single digit, unless, of course, much like the master numbers for your life path, there's also the master numbers rule over the destiny numbers. Myself, I'm a life path 33, and that is the number of the spiritual teacher. And the spiritual teacher is the combination of all the other life path numbers. Much like Pisces is the combination of all the other zodiacs, as it is the final stage, the final chapter.
It's also 33 is also known as the Christ consciousness number, like just further driving home the strength of development that you have reached at that point of soul. Because I often see Pisces as people that have gone through the wheel at least once. Like they have spent a life as an Aries, they have spent a life as a Taurus, and so on, learning that individual lesson. So they come in with an incredible power and understanding, but also an immense amount of emotional baggage. Pisces
Yep.
can be very reactionary and distrustful because not only have they received abuse in this life, but it has been like a constant of their soul to go through some of the worst timelines. But that might just be in the Pisces that I have known.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I kind of relate. I'm not sure, but our past, our charts might be different on the low instead of the high, the sun. So it all depends on that too as well. Like um her being, I don't know what life path number the Pisces in your life is, but so like mine being a Pisces, life path 33, and master number 11 for my destiny. The destiny number for master 11 is the heightened level of spiritual significance and unique vibration. So it's the spiritual awareness and inner wisdom. So that's a spiritual teacher and inner wisdom, Pisces. Amazing. I enjoyed the life path 9 for a humanitarian. That one very sticks out to me. I find a lot of people in my life are usually life path number 9s. It's fun to see who all comes into your life and what lessons you have left to learn. So even though I am a teacher, and it's interesting because what are you teaching? And I feel like with life path number 33, this is headcanon. I don't have spiritual evidence to back this up, but this might be the spiritual evidence that I'm laying it down for you. So if you resonate, let me know. Life path 33, if you notice that there's certain individuals coming into your life, like synchronicities, of those coming through for number 9, is that you're at a moment. What are you teaching? You're teaching humanitarian. That's what you're here to teach, is to how to be a humanitarian. Like if you're life path 33 and you're attracting a lot of life path 6 around you, you may be teaching communications. You'd be teaching public speaking, learning how to make toast, and teaching people how to write novels and write strong song structure. It's just something that I personally feel that is indicated, because I've noticed that it's changed throughout my life. And I've, like, once I knew what life path 33 was involved, and life path number 11 is like the illuminator, like being your it's like to search for enlightenment and be a lighthouse for others. I'm doing it. I'm here. Hello everyone.
Yeah, numerology is, first of all, if you feel like your brain is melting, that's fine. That's you're fine, my love. It is, numerology is one of the aspects of spirituality that it is a very information heavy topic. You have to take it little by little. So if you just want to like write down little things like master numbers, life path numbers, whatever it is, and do your own research on this later, I highly invite you to do that and maybe come back and listen and be like, oh, okay, so I understand a little more about what that means now that I looked into this. I have to
Oh,
do
most
that all the
definitely.
time. Like, going back to how the same energy has to represent itself in a different way, information will come back into your life repeating itself until it finds a way to get through to you and relay to you what it needs to say. That's why
Repeating cards and when you're pulling from tarot.
yeah, repeating cards. It's just like the message is the message. I said what I said. That's one thing from spirit, but also people. If you find the people in your life are saying the same basic thing in different situations, you might need to take a moment and remove your ego and see what it is. Like, where is that actually pointing you towards? So I have a sacred geometry oracle deck. It's actually one of my favorites to use. And as I was talking about that, and like people saying like, "Oh, you should do this," or "Have you tried this? Have you looked into this?" The card Prosperity came out. So that card is 36. Going back to my little cheat sheet here, 3 being the number of growth, change, and support. 6 is a refocus on the balance of your life and your higher purpose, letting go of fear. This can play into a lot of fear of sharing your creativity or expressing yourself creatively. The 36 adding up to 9, a sign of completion, a sign of new beginning. This, if I was getting this in a reading, would be saying there is something prosperous waiting for you, coming for you, that is waiting for your signature to be delivered, but you are too afraid to receive it. You are too afraid of the work that you would have to do, the person that you would become, unbecoming the person that you are now, or one of the biggest, at least in my situation, the fear of success, the fear that you will succeed, the fear that everything that you have worked for will give you what you deserve. But because you have always thought that this was something that you would always have to work for, because you always thought that it would always be a struggle, that you would have to fight for everything, it's going to be this like, I too good to be true kind of thing. And that's why you have to let go of the fear. Being further
Absolutely.
confirmed by the solar plexus chakra that was at the bottom of the deck. Number 3, growth, change, and support.
I love it.
But yeah, see, that's how simply and easily numerology works in my reading style. It's just how it works for me personally. It does something completely different for other people. And then there are some people that just like, okay, you saw 3 4s. You looked at the clock at 4 4 4. That's what that means. And
Yeah.
that's
There's
fine. If they don't resonate with it,
That's
if
what
they
it
don't
means
see
to
it,
them. It doesn't mean it's wrong. That just means what it means to them. It's like I looked at the clock.
yeah.
Very very
Numer
surface level, but still a meaning.
Numerology is a wonderful example and analogy of everything looks different to everyone based on your perspective, awareness, and most importantly, perception. And so, like,
Yeah.
think about it like an art piece, an art gallery. You'll see pieces that are very ornate with high detail and an expansive landscape and scene that tells an immersive story. And then down the way, you'll see another piece that's geometric shapes and splatters and lines. Both classify as art. People will say one is worth more than the other, one is better than the other, but it's a completely different vibe. It's a completely different energy. And those individual things will attract different kinds of people. So it very much is one of the strongest indicators of what you need. What do you desire? What is it that you want out of life? And how is it can spirit speak to you?
Absolutely. I enjoy talking with it a lot. Like there's been times like me, I got super into it. I was way too much into it. Like um I was looking up like 4 numbers and there's one individual online that I'll have to take when I do this video where like she's an oracle and she like will put different letters that are associated with those 4 numbers And then you can decide for yourself, like when you're looking at license plate numbers and letters to find words and people that you know in your life. It would say letters, and you can find out different names and things that are associated with it, especially if you're trying to talk to ancestors or familiars and guides and such. You know, if there's like the L and I and K in there, and Loki and stuff, that you would indicate. I'll make sure I put a list below. But you'll also see a lot of these synchronicities when you're going out and about. Like when you're playing video games, you may notice that you're getting the same amount of numbers. You're like, what's going on there? Is spirit wanting me to have more fun? Is spirit wanting me to rest more? If you're nervous on the way, like for myself, I had my first concert slash poetry event that I went to, and I was nervous, and there was a license plate with my name on it, and I was like, "That's so cool." Um, it was weird because I usually spell my name differently, and I don't know a lot of them that are in my area that are spelled that way. So
I
having it
have
on the
never
license,
seen a spelling of your name.
right? And it was on a license plate. I was like, whoa, like in order, like not just like jumbled where you like have to like dyslexia, undyslexic the picture and like words puzzle thing in order to get to it and be like all the letters are there, Scrabble. No, it was straight up my name, and I'm like, okay, well, obviously I'm on the right path considering this card's leading the way with my name. Let's go. These can come from anything. Just be like, ask spirit. Be like, yo, I'm feeling a little bit, skeptical, or I'm feeling a little superstitious. Like I believe in this, but I'm not quite sure. Let's test my intuition, like doing those intuition tests or the psychic tests that they have on reels online. Testing your like but it's not really the test is trusting yourself, and that's what you're learning is how to trust your inner guidance and getting that reflected back from spirit with confirmation.
Yeah, getting that confirmation. Because going through a spiritual journey, learning to trust yourself, at least in my experience and my learning between looking at my own journey and looking at my mom's journey, who grew up in the 70s and the 80s, you basically have to unlearn and deprogram yourself from everything you were told as a child, not just in school, but by your parents. The first 10 years of your life are the most formative. They structure not just who you are and how you think about the world, but how you think about yourself and how people have treated you. So if you went through a lot of abuse as a child, you're going to have a very low vibrational and negative thought about yourself, especially if it came directly from your family, because there is that constant push of your family is supposed to protect you, your family is supposed to love you, and that warps into your child mind and mentality of, if these are the people that are supposed to love and protect me, why am I not worthy of that love and protection? Why am I not deserving of that? And that starts to structure your internal monologue. That starts to structure your compass. And that's when the bad habits of sarcasms and self-deprecating thoughts start occurring, when you no longer recognize yourself as someone who is worthy of love, someone who is deserving of that. And so when you're catching these synchronicities, before, like numerology might be your step into spirituality. It might be your door in, because maybe you keep seeing 333, 333, 333, or in the case of my business mentor, he has seen 777 so many times. I mean, he's already on the spiritual path, but I did send him a little message as I was getting stuff ready today as to what 777 meant.
Noticing that different spiritual paths come along will mean something different for you. Especially, I notice a lot when I go out, and like if you're worried while you're out shopping, and like you'll ask spirit for synchronicities, be like, may all my things that I need be on sale. Like, show me that, I am capable of eating healthy and that I am abundant. And it's happened a lot that when you ask and the receiving, sometimes it's a bit delayed, it's not an instant meal. So when synchronicities are coming through, remember to have patience as well, as much as understanding and discernment. A lot of it is patience too, my love, especially if you're making a change. Change doesn't happen overnight. Sometimes it does, but even at that, even if it's, overnight success, you're still gonna have a few weeks where you're gonna have to figure out how to rebalance your budget. What kind of habits are you gonna have? And especially when your habits are like, I know that some of us do have those um, negative coping mechanisms and hard on yourself. I'd rather you cope than not cope at all. You know?
Absolutely. Like, I was just having a conversation with my business mentor, Shu, about this morning about how I have been not in the best energy myself in the past few weeks because of being pushed to extremes, having to take care of full grown adults and do more than is truly my responsibility, but because of incompetence of phalluses, I have to take care of more things. And I had been indulging in more escapism and more low vibrational things. And it's left me very woozy and drifty headed and not really in myself. I haven't been able to do a reading. Like this morning was the first time in days I felt clear enough to do a reading. And I was so happy that I did. I love the message that came out this morning. Having that awareness of, like, I'm not doing the best right now, it's not enabling me to continue the bad habit. It's not enabling me and saying, like, oh, well, there's no point in me stopping it. I gave it the attention. There's that catch 22 of just like, I don't want to manifest my worst nightmares by focusing on them. So I just ignore my problems, but my love that they don't go away. It's like there's a Shinedown lyric. Unpack all your baggage, hide it in the attic where you hope it disappears. It's not going to go anywhere. Hyperfixating on the most horrible things that have happened to us, the worst case scenarios, all of that is not going to be how we pull ourselves out. Blaming ourselves for being human, for having weaknesses, for giving into temptation you're not going to bully yourself to
Into
enlightenment. You're not going to
Yeah.
bully yourself to alignment, Christianity. You're not going to bully someone to where they need to be spiritually.
I know a lot of people who are atheists too who do that through like science. It's like, well, you go make sure you're exercising, make sure you're getting the sunlight, Have you done that? And it's like, yeah, I have. I still need a little extra, okay,
Yeah,
Timothy.
like I literally today I went to the pool. I went to my gym has a saltwater pool and it has a
Oh,
spa pool. It's fucking awesome. It has a
well,
spa pool which usually runs about 90 degrees and it is incredible, and most days it's awesome. Some days there are crotch goblins that are very loud and have no understanding of personal space.
oh, absolutely not. Their brain's not fully cooked yet. They're like I blame the parents. I'm gonna
No, I
say.
seriously, like, I thanked this one mother that was like talking to her child, like, oh no, give space, don't throw, look around you. And then there was the other mother with her three crouch goblins. And I had to recognize that, they're living their own life. They don't, like, how I'm feeling, it's not going to affect them. So I had to do what was best for myself and just get out of that situation. And I got a pizza from QT. I'm not
Right?
blaming myself. I'm not
And
shaming myself for getting a pizza after a workout.
no way. But that's also leads me to another a point is that synchronicities and angel numbers and numerology, what have you, also works the other way. Like if you aren't getting the message, like sometimes spirit like it gonna give you the tough love and like send like images where you like you're in this energy, like they're gonna keep sending you videos of like, have you been working on grounding yourself today? If you're being hard on yourself, like just
Half
little
my
stuff.
FYP is father wounds.
Yeah, exactly. They will show you what you are, your shadow self that is trying to do. It will use synchronicities of repeated things. And it happens within relationships where some people don't want to let go yet or they're not ready to let go yet. And that's fair because they haven't learned the lesson that goes with it. And even if they moved on and were removed from it,
You're gonna
if it
find
wasn't
another person. You're gonna
they would
find another
find
person and repeat that same cycle.
same lesson. It might not be your personal partner. Next time it might be your boss. The next time it might be your best friend. But that also happens with good relationships too, where you like move away and you're like, oh, that was my bestest best friend. Now we don't work the same job. It will
Yeah,
always bring in that extra confirmation. So make sure you're asking for the things you want to see. You know, the tale as old as time saying of be careful what you're wishing for, be careful what you're manifesting, you know?
yeah. And believe me, it is exhausting to be hyper vigilant on your every thought. You can't do that. I would recommend journaling. Everyone will say journaling, they will throw that word out there so many times. You have to find something that works for you. I have
Mhm.
developed a method of chaos journaling. I have a monthly planner that most people would like write out their agendas and their daily tasks and stuff. I keep the month portion for that. And in the weekly part, I sticker it up, I section it out, I doodle, I draw, I brain dump. I get it out of my head. And I have found so much more peace and release in that, even in just the acknowledgement of, I didn't do so good today, or it was a really good day. Going back to our first episode, the affirmations.
Oh, yeah, and the protection one as well. And remembering that some of this can be extra energies that you've absorbed throughout the days and cleansing and stuff. Remember that with like if you're hearing repeated, like you'll notice from spirit if you get hear your clairaudient, we'll get into those later, but if you hear repeated songs and you know that these songs are coming through and you look up the lyrics, that can be a message for you as well. Hearing things as well for that are negative in your mindset, always remember that the first thought that comes to mind can be the programming of what you've learned from societal norms. And if you fight that voice is the next thing you do, I have something to tell you. That's your real inner justice warrior coming through. Because the first one is the initial program, which is going to come through pretty quickly because it's a quick, a shortcut, one of those hotkeys. And it's like, oh, you see this hotkey. And
Yeah,
if you've been an inner critic to yourself, that will be the first thing that pops up. Make sure that you're being kind to yourself. And especially if the next one you say is so you like, I be like, oh, this outfit doesn't look good on me. I can wear whatever I want and I look good in it is the next thing coming out of that brain. And that is the real you coming through. I just wanted you to know. So when you're being through the negative coping mechanisms and such, just remember that your inner teenager and inner child is still fighting in there for you.
absolutely. And you can call on them for help. You can call on them for support. And like the more you learn about yourself, the more you learn about spirituality, you're going to reflect and see how there were situations you made the problem worse. I mean, ideally, you'd have that awareness to remove the ego's knee jerk reaction to be like, I don't do anything wrong. No, you've made a mistake. You've made a mistake. In that situation, don't blame yourself. One of the most important phrases that I have adopted into my mantra is do your best until you know better and then do better. You can't blame yourself for what you did not know. You cannot
Love
be
mine.
angry at yourself for not knowing that the sky was blue if you've never seen blue before.
You're colorblind, don't be hard on yourself. Like, that's not fair.
Exactly. Everyone has a specific set of skills. Everyone has things that they lean into more. Numerology might not be your thing at all. You might
Oh,
be
yeah.
so much more into astrology. There are people that do tarot and never touch the astral part of it, never look at the zodiacs associated with the cards, and just look at it for what they are independently. The most important thing that you get out of life is that you find enjoyment and a way to trust yourself, a way to love yourself, because you're God incarnate. You are spirit walking around in a fleshy meat sack, wondering how you love this world.
I'm absolutely team meat bags. Um,
I love being a meat sack.
those little electrical brains. Ooh, love that.
What? Your flesh covered? I love that for you.
Wow, my biggest organ, skin, amazing.
Dude, in human growth and development and anatomy, I'd be like, what? What did you say? But like, think about it. Why is a baby constantly crying when they get here? It's because the
Right?
soul doesn't want to be confined. It doesn't
No.
want to be bound like that. We're boundless. We're infinite. You try to shove this massive thing into a bag and then vacuum seal it. You know what's going to happen. It's like when you order a new mattress or a giant plushie.
When I came out, I was so used to coming here that I was like so used to the density that I didn't cry when I came out.
Oh no, when my mama was born, she would not stop crying. She would cry and cry and cry and cry. People could not handle her.
No, I came out. The only time I cried, I came out and I tried. The first thing I did was try to eat the oxygen bag because I wasn't crying, so they wanted to check on me, and they tried to give me put the oxygen bag on my face, and I tried to start eating it, and they're like, "Well, she's trying to eat, but we still gotta make sure her airways not full." So they checked my back and like did the usual hit the back thing to try and get out, like the Heimlich mover on a baby. Um, and yeah, there was nothing in my throat. I just instantly started crying. I got angry.
She's like,
I was like, I was
baby,
peaceful. I
baby
came here
Kimmy
in
be like,
peace.
bitch, I just came here and you're already smacking me around. Give me a couple of months.
Yeah, like all I want to do is eat. I came here. I came in peace. I was quiet. Just give me a meal. Shut. No, you gotta start throwing
Kimmy
hands.
came
Let's
into
go.
this world hangry.
Yep.
I love that so much.
Refused to talk. Refused to do anything. They're like, "Is she even alive?" I'm like, "Are you gonna feed me?"
I love that mental image so much.
So yeah, having different synchronicities and knowing everyone's journey is different. Like even if you had the same day at the same hospital, you would have a different path that you'd
You
be
can
on.
run your journey parallel to people, but where you're sitting will never be the same from where another person is sitting. I describe it as like when you're on a road trip. The experience, the view, everything from the driver's seat is completely different from the back right, third row seat and the middle left seat. Everyone is seeing a completely different thing. Everyone is experiencing a completely different thing. You're moving in a similar direction. You might see and notice the same things, but there are different conversations going on. There are different things being processed. And so having
Absolutely.
patience with yourself and others is so important.
Many boats, same ocean. I love that.
I feel like this was a really good episode. A little information heavy, not the heaviest though. I feel like natal charts was a lot heavier than this one.
It definitely was. I knew that this one personally for myself, I was excited for this one, much like talking to the deck. But I personally, it's the one that I've gotten through to a lot of people. Like at first, people would like snicker it off. They're like, "Huh, 111," or they would call me their number buddy. Because I would post online with like my own personal synchronicities, like 444 opening opportunities door, like making like rhymes with the numbers, or 1234 the next step of your life because it's going up the steps, or if it's like 654 the countdown to the final project, like it's the final countdown. um uh, but like finding those different synchronicities and knowing that like it's like a crossword puzzle, there's all those words in there, but some people won't find all those words. But you might walk right up and you'll be like, didn't don't you see that synchronicity there? Don't you see that word? That word's right there. It's going diagonally up from the bottom to the top. Didn't you see that? And they're like, no, I didn't see that. So, like, your synchronicities may not resonate with everyone else. Don't be discouraged, and just know that's the little inside joke between you and spirit, or inside, you know, story. It's an inside story. It means that you're making a relationship with the universe from the physical
Absolutely.
realm, and that's honestly the coolest thing ever.
Looking into your synchronicities might pique you into as well various different types of Claire gifts that you may have, which is going to be our next episode.
Absolutely, I'm excited for this one. Ooh,
Yeah, I've got a little research to do on this one, but woo! Claire's is like the big woo woo.
yeah,
That
yeah.
that one's
I
a
I honestly, I'm really into this one. Is uh actually I'm into all of it. Really, is a lot
on.
of.
I could talk for hours about every single thing that we have talked about. That's why we have to limit it.
That's what I was about to say. I was like, absolutely. Thank you for joining me, Vanna, as we
Absolutely, Kimmy.
co-host you.
I always love learning with you and learning from you. You've always got this weird story or some inkling of information that I had never heard of before that's just like, oh right, new lore unlocked.
It honestly, it's such a relief because could you imagine having your subject of info dumping being spirituality, and I can't just be like Brainiac from like Superman, just sit there and start forcing like the subjects into it, and like Superman's there like, I can totally take all this
Yes,
information.
I can. It's one thing that I've had to learn with my authenticity of how much I expose to people. Not everyone gets to know this side of me immediately. Like when
Absolutely not. This I don't either. That's why I'm like, it's such a relief to be able to like have someone who wants to listen and like not be completely thrown off by it, even if they're not at the same, all those years of me sitting around and reading and having all this niche trivia is, it's finally starting to see why I did it. Spirit's like, just keep learning me. For what? Why?
just
Who needs to know all this?
keep gathering all of these different tarot decks, informations, and hyperfixations, and everything will come together.
It'll be okay.
All right. I hope
um,
everyone listening has a wonderful day and you're not completely brain rotted.
absolutely. I look forward to seeing you all next in the Claire gifts. And yeah, remember to eat, hydrate, rest, and have fun, y'all.
All right. Brightest blessings.